My name is Mary. I watched my little brother be circumcised about 8 years ago. We're 20 years apart. My parents wouldn't take him to be circumcised, so they made me do it at 20 years old. Newborn, walking into the circumcision area was the most awful experience I've ever endured. They lay them down under lights and they basically chisel it away. And there's blood and the babies are screaming, and it's the most terrible thing I've ever heard in my life. I would never, ever want to see that again.
Now, did your little brother pass out during this surgery, or
no? He was awake the entire time.
Did he vomit? I mean, did any?
There was no vomiting. There was no anything. He was awake and screaming the entire time. They didn't give him any anesthesia. There was nothing to help him.
Was this in San Jose?
This was in San Jose, California. Yep.
And you had to take him home?
He wound up being in the hospital for another week after, not because of the circumcision, but because my mom had an emergency C-section with one of the twins.
So how old was he when you took him in to get? Oh,
he was a day old.
So he was still in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
At the time, I see. So while you took him down, so this was a hospital circumcision.
He wasn't even a day old. He was maybe 15 hours.
Wow.
Old.
And so your mother was in a hospital bed while you did that.
Yep.
And so then did you bring him back to your mom?
Yep.
In your arms?
Yep.
Was he still crying then?
He was screaming.
The whole time?
He screamed for maybe 45 minutes.
Afterwards? In your mother's arms?
In my mother's arms.
And do you recall?
No, they didn't actually even give him to my mother. They put him in a bassinet and put him next to my mother, but they wouldn't let my mom do anything with him.
And he lay there screaming? And do you recall how your mother reacted to that, or was she in so much pain that...
My mom couldn't even handle what was happening. She was passed out half the time. She had a horrible emergency C-section. They actually deflated one of her lungs. So...
Now, do you have any reason to believe that his staying in the hospital for so long afterwards had nothing to do with the circumcision? So that was
I really don't know. It was bleeding a lot. I came down and visited every chance. I mean, it bled. They put Vaseline on it. That's all they did. They didn't put any anesthetic on it to calm the pain. It was just Vaseline.
And you say, how long did the bleeding continue?
Maybe 4 days.
So you saw bloody diapers?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There was blood. A lot.
A lot of blood. And how long was he in the hospital then?
He was a little over a week.
A little over a week. Is there any other part of this that you remember or recall while we're talking that you want to add? Because this is really just a very, very sad story.
Yeah.
How about you? Have you suffered nightmares from it, or do you?
Right after, I did for about a year. After seeing it wasn't just him in there, it was all the other babies that a lot of the parents didn't go with. They just take them. The nurse just takes them, and the doctors are dealing with them. These babies are connected to their mothers. Their mothers can't go. They take them on their own. And these babies are with nobody. I mean, yes, it was awful taking my brother, but at least I was with him and I was there, and he knew that I was there, but no other baby had any family there. The nurse takes them and they go.
And so you heard other screaming in there that was...
there was at least 4 other babies screaming.
On which day? At any given time, or in what time?
It was, it was when I took them in, and it was maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, they were doing other circumcisions?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You saw it?
Oh, yeah.
So you saw all those babies lying there?
Oh, yeah.
Can you describe the room?
It was just a regular hospital room with lights over like a little bassinet area, and they would just take the diaper off and they just chisel it away.
And were these babies all laying out at the same time?
Oh yeah.
Next to each other?
No, they're spread out.
And they were all obviously screaming in anguish.
Oh, they were all screaming.
What a
Every
nightmare.
single baby was screaming and crying. There was no baby that was happy in there.
And how many medical staff were in there while this was going on? So there were about 4 babies. How many medical staff were in there?
Maybe 3.
And how did they seem to react to this?
Nothing. Like, it was nothing. They didn't care. Like, it was just, this is what they did. I mean, you do become desensitized when you work around it, but that was their daily process.
What you're used to.
That's what they did.
But actually, we're the ones that are
gruesome.
because most of the world are like us.
Was this room within earshot of your mother's hospital
No,
room?
no.
You know,
Oh, no.
So once you took your brother back, when you visited, you didn't hear any of those screams from.
Oh, no. You couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear anything at all. If a mother heard that, they would never let it happen.
So your brother's 9 years old now.
He's 8 years old
8
now.
years old.
Yep.
And how's he doing?
He's okay. He has auditory processing issues, but he's doing much better now. When he was younger, he didn't talk until he was maybe 4. Not that I don't know if it has any correlation, but he did not talk.
Did you have to help with the diapering?
Oh yeah.
And can you describe the typical diapering when he would have to be changed?
Well, you take the diaper off, and there's blood, so you clean it off with a baby wipe.
And how would he react to that?
Oh, he'd cry. He'd cry every time, and then you put Vaseline on, and he'd be crying the entire time. He cried for maybe 10 minutes each time it happened.
So it was extremely painful. Would that make you cry?
That at the beginning, absolutely. I got used to it. I didn't feel comfortable with putting anything on it, but I mean, the Vaseline's supposed to help it not bleed, and it's supposed to help it not rub against the diaper, so I was going to do anything that I could that would help. But you're not allowed to put anything on it other than Vaseline. Nothing to help the pain, nothing to help the healing.
And did he, how long would you say, I know it may be difficult to remember, but how long would you say that the diaper changes were painful for him?
Maybe a week.
See. Was he breastfed?
He was attempted to. He wouldn't attach after. He didn't have an issue initially, but he wouldn't attach.
So he breastfed before he was taken off for circumcision?
Yeah.
Would you say, can you describe what you believe may have been any temperament change in him? I mean, he clearly
absolutely.
He was a happy little baby. It's clear.
I mean, when he was in the womb, my mom would say he was, he was a little bit more passive. They're twins, so he was initially more passive, but he was the more active one.
The other twin was a girl?
Yes.
Okay.
And after, he's definitely ridiculous. Like, he's so passive. My sister has complete control. And he latched before. I don't know if there's any correlation to him not latching after, but they're definitely formula baby.
Now, you may not have heard, but there is a lot of talk in our community of intactivists that circumcision is very, very destructive of the breastfeeding relationship. Had you heard that before?
No, but I have also heard with the crying it out method that once your parents kind of ignore you and let you cry it out, you don't rely on them anymore. And after, maybe I could see that them not going with him and being there for him, he just didn't rely on it as much. He definitely did not, he still doesn't rely on my parents. He's 8 years old. he does his own thing. He's always done his own thing.
Did your mother or father ever make any comment about circumcision?
No. My mother, with my other brother, she had done her research, and had she known what she had known after doing research after my other brother was circumcised, she said she wouldn't do it again, but she left it up to my dad's decision, and my dad wanted him circumcised.
So both your brothers are circumcised?
Yeah.
I see. Well, thank you for your story, Mary. Very, very interesting. I'm going to post it on my Facebook tonight. It's a very, very important story for the community of intactivists to hear, because it's a tragedy in your little brother's life, and it clearly had a profound effect on his life.
Yeah, it might have. Yeah. Who knows what he would have been without it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing it.
Oh my.